So tell me, what's the process you take when you start working with a new client to identify realistically how much time they should be spending on their marketing assets?
Yeah. So before I go into that approach, I just want to validate Paul because you touched on this that you've got I've got to create the 5 posts that I said I would. Or the other thing that I hear is I heard this on a podcast that I should be doing blah blah blah. Or I read it in a book, or I signed up for a course and I did part of it. And what I hear from business owners is that they did, yeah, okay, so they heard 30 minutes of a podcast and they picked one juicy nugget, which is very valuable. Okay, I cannot invalidate. And then they took this one page of a book that was so powerful and just completely changed how they're thinking about some way of showing up in their business. Also, really fantastic. But is that page from the book talking to that juicy nugget from a podcast? Not always, right? Not always is it part of the same strategy. Can we make it part of a strategy? Absolutely. But it takes a little bit of effort to weave them all together. Sometimes I feel like I'm playing Tetris a little bit. How do we make that work? And so I just want to say to everyone who is hanging out with us today, you have heard all kinds of great advice or read it or wherever you get your content. You've gotten great advice. And if you feel like you have tried all of those pieces of advice and they're not working, that's frustrating. Like that's where you hit the edge of burnout, right? Where you're just like, I'm trying all the things. I listened to this, I read this, they're the expert in the field, I'm doing what they said and it's not working. And really, it's not that they're not working, it's that they're not working together. And so that's where the strategy comes in. So when I start working with a client, we get a really good assessment of where they are, right? We can't figure out where we want to go without knowing where we are and where we've been. So sometimes it's a look back of what has worked in the past